We all know that HDBs are getting more and more expensive. Due to inflation, the price of everything is going up, including our salaries, or hopefully at least. So yes, in absolute terms, I can agree that HDB prices are going up. But it's not that simple. We need to look at this increase in relation to how much our salaries are going up as well. Today, I'm here to paint you a very different picture and prove to you that HDB prices are not as expensive as they may seem on the surface. There is no disputing that HDB prices are going up. A quick look at our trusty HDB resale index shows the same as well. But on the flip side, the Ministry of Manpower, or MOM, publishes a report every year on what the median salary in Singapore is. In the most recent 2023 report, the median salary of a Singapore resident was $5,197. This includes the employer CPF contribution. The median basically means sorting every Singaporean and PR in Singapore and picking the person right in the middle. This middle guy earns $5,197 a month. In order for me to prove to you that HDB prices are not that expensive, I will need to compare the growth of the median salary in Singapore to the growth of HDB prices in Singapore. To do that, we will be using two key datasets. The first dataset is the HDB Resale Index. This is published by HDB. It is baseline in 2009. That means that prices in 2009 is reflected as 100, and the index measures the price movement in relation to this. So for example, the index is now 180. That means that on average, the resale market has moved up 80% since 2009. HDB does this by looking at the overall price movement in the market. I'm not sure how they do this precisely, as I was not able to find any detailed information online on how the logic or the calculation is done. So if you happen to know anything more about how the HDB resale index is calculated, let me know in the comment section below. The second dataset is the median income in Singapore. As I talked about earlier, this data is published by the Ministry of Manpower on a yearly basis. However, the two datasets are not directly comparable yet. The HDB resale index is represented in proportion to a baseline, but on the other hand, the salary data is represented in absolute terms, which is in Singapore dollars. So we need to spend some time transforming the data to allow us to plot them on the same scale and also to do an apple-to-apple comparison between the two. I did some number crunching to convert the income dataset to an index as well, represented as a proportion to the baseline salary. The baseline salary I chose to use is the one in 2009. This helps to keep it comparable to the HDB resale index, which was also benchmarked against 2009 prices. Hypothetically speaking, if the median income in 2015 is 1.5 times that of 2009, the 2009 value will be 100, and the 2015 value will be 150. With that, we now have our own version of a median income index, which can then be compared directly with the HDB resale index. Let's now look at the results. Let's call out some observations from the data before we come back and answer if HDB prices are indeed too expensive. The first observation is yes, we know that HDB prices have been rising steadily through the years, with the exception of some dips. The second observation is that the median income has been going up steadily as well. It is good that our wages are keeping up with inflation through the years. It is a sign of a healthy economy. In fact, one thing we can observe here is that wages have been increasing even more consistently than home prices, as there were no major dips, unlike the HDB index. Putting all these together, I think what's most salient is that where things are today. The HDB resale index is at 180, while our median income index is at 177. That is to say that on average, since 2009, HDB resale prices have increased by 1.8 times. And wages, on the other hand, on average, have also increased very comparably by 1.77 times. If you ask me, I think this is pretty much comparable. This shows that our earning power has more or less gone up at the same pace as home prices. We can also now say that the increase of HDB prices is just on an absolute level. At the end of the day, it is just a number. We need to benchmark this number to other factors like our earning power and look at how they go up in relation to one another. So to sum up, despite the higher price tag of HDB resale units today, the average HDB unit today is just as affordable to the average Singaporean as it was back in 2009. But one thing to note is that by and large, this is an exercise on averages and on a very macro level. We are individuals with an individual paycheck, looking at an individual house price, so this may not be very representative of our scenario specifically. So now that we know that wages have by and large kept up with HDB prices, let's circle back and ask ourselves what buyers can do about it. Let's first note that this is just averages. If you pick the right property, the price would increase much quicker. And on the flip side, if you're looking at the wrong property, the appreciation will be much lower than this. The same is true for the salaries. It is just a median number, and it depends very largely on you as an individual as well. Overall, inflation is not something that is within our control. How much money the government prints, what interest rates are, how much prices rise are not within our control. So there is very little point worrying about all of that. It is important to know, but I think what's more important is to shift our focus back to things that we can control. Unless you intend on renting, which is a different topic, you are watching this video because you intend to purchase a house soon. So here are 4 things that you can focus on. The first is to arm ourselves with the right knowledge about the property market to ensure that we make an informed decision. You don't need to be a genius, but just knowing how the basics work will go a long way. So that's why if you want more tips and unbiased videos, remember to subscribe.
That's all I've ever wanted.
The second thing you can control is which unit you enter and what price you enter at. You cannot control the economy and the property market, but these are the 2 things that you can control with relation to buying your property. So my suggestion would be to focus your effort on what unit you enter and your entry price. The third is to understand your own finances. It is true that homes are getting more expensive now, so it is even more crucial to understand your own affordability. Some things you can do to better understand your own affordability would be to take stock of your combined income, your liquid cash, and how much CPF OA you have, and also spending some time to understand how this directly translates to how much loan you can take from HDB. Speaking about income, of course everybody wants to earn more. If you're a salaried worker, how much your employer pays you is something that's completely out of your control. But what you can control is how much value you bring to the table and how you can navigate your own career. So the fourth thing you can consider is focusing on actionable steps to increase your own income, or maybe even thinking about a side hustle. But this is a whole other topic which I don't want to focus on today. That wraps it up. If you found this video helpful, remember to like, comment, and subscribe.